I'm Clarke Speaks, the Catastrophic Injury Lawyer. Welcome to The Verdict.
Right, so what it sounds like you're kind of painting this picture is that a lot of that money and that, large sum of money that we see on advertisements and stuff is exactly that, is a lot of times an advertisement, I think, to the extent that a lot of that money I might never even see. It comes to me and I pay my medical bills or for whatever reason, and this money gets kind of divvied up, and it's not necessarily just cash in my pocket that I can go, to Bermuda with kind of thing.
100%. So, for example, so let's look at it like this, right? Okay, let's say there's a $10 million claim. Let's say there's $3 million in medical bills. And let's say there's a lost wage claim for $500,000 because you got a 40-year-old person who would have worked for the rest of her life or his life, and then it's discounted for present value. So you've got, a $3.5 million claim. Then you've got future medical bills anticipated. You're going to have additional surgeries. You're going to have hardware replaced. You're going to have other medical treatment. And then, a lot of times what will happen is, say a person loses a leg and has an artificial leg, a lot of times walking becomes challenging, and that will cause problems in other areas of their body. You're a college athlete, so if you hurt, maybe you've ever had this experience. Tell me if you have. You sprain a knee, and so you have to overcompensate, and you know what I'm talking about. Have you ever had that
Yeah, no,
experience?
I sprained my ankle and it gave me hip problems because I'm limping and in a boot and
So imagine, God forbid, if somebody loses a leg, or both legs, what that does to your hips, what that does to your arms when you're having to do like this. Are those going to wear out? And so we can get medical. So my job is to tell that story completely, not to just say that person needs a new artificial leg. Also, that artificial leg how long is it going to last? Is it going to wear out? You're going to have to get another one? Guess how much artificial legs cost? So this is something that comes up when I talk about this subject. My mom is 86 years old. What happens when somebody's 86 years old, and they don't have any legs? Now their spouse may have died. Their parents are certainly dead. Who's going to come take care of them? Are their kids going to come take care of them? Their kids they have their own kids. How are they going to get groceries? How are they going to get? So it's important to think about all these things. So how are they going to unload their groceries? How are they going to do their dishes? How are they going to clean their house? How are they going to and they're going to be able to do some of those things, but there's some of those things that they can't do. And so it's my job to quantify those things with experts who say they can't do this and they can't do this. And this is how much it's going to cost to do this in the year 2052 or whatever, and we have experts. And we have the ability to do those things. So I have to be able to prove that to a jury, so now you've got, $3 million in future and past medical bills, $500,000 in lost wages. How much in future medical treatment? I don't know. How much in future, but we would have a report that says this. How much in future economic loss? We would have a report that said this. Then there might be, pain and suffering. What's it worth, to have lost your legs? In isolation, it's like, well, nothing. Okay, but what if you're a 8-year-old little girl who is riding her bike on the sidewalk where she's supposed to be, and a delivery driver cuts a corner, and the back tires run over and he keeps going, Th- now it's like, this is a giant corporation. Who should bear that cost? Somebody's bearing that cost. Like, somebody's bearing that cost. She's bearing the cost no matter what, right? She's the one that's not going to be able to walk or play volleyball or walk down the aisle or play with her children quite the same way. Now, with technology and with physical therapy and with different therapies, people can have amazing, rich, productive lives. We've had them on our Catastrophic Comeback podcast, just unbelievable people who are just incredible, amazing, people, and have overcome all these things. But it's a difficult situation, and it's not their fault. If it was their fault, I wouldn't have a claim. Like, at least one of these cases I was telling you about where we talked to this week, I think we got a problem because it was our guy's fault, and I don't think they're going to be able to recover anything because they played a part, not the whole thing, but they played a part in in contributing to their own injuries. So they get nothing, zero, goose egg, nada. However, when it's somebody else's fault and they have the ability to pay, they have insurance or it's a big corporation or whatever, it only makes sense that they would be responsible for paying the damage, for paying for like what they cause, right? Like, I mean, so we're not asking for if a if a Amazon truck or whatever runs over a kid or whatever, I'm not trying to put that person in jail. That's not my job. Now, if they're driving under the influence or if they're, you know, speeding or whatever, the DA's office will prosecute that, and they will deal with that from a criminal perspective. And we'll get those records and we'll use those to our advantage if we can and all that. But if it's from a civil perspective, my job is not to put that person in jail or penalize that person at all. My job is to seek justice, which is someone's going to bear the cost of this. Who should it be? Should it be my 8-year-old girl, or should it be the person who was responsible for causing this problem? And in my opinion, in the history of the United States and the justice system that we have, the person who is responsible for the damage is the one who has to pay for it. And that's the reason we all have insurance, right? You're required to have insurance before you operate a vehicle. If you have a commercial vehicle, you're required to have more insurance. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us to stay up to date with our weekly episodes. We'll see you next time.